As you can see from the handouts, my report is on The Wizard of Oz. What this speech is for is to persuade you that the best movie of all time, in my opinion, is The Wizard of Oz. The original book was called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and it was by Frank L. Baum. And he lived from 1856 to 1919. He was the son of a devout in a devout Methodist family. The movie debuted on August 25th, 1939, and it was originally made in color. The first part of the movie was done in a sepia tone of brown. The director of this film his name was Victor Fleming, and he's the same director that directed Gone with the Wind. So the movie has everything in it that a person with a Christian background can hope to have in a movie. The primary objective of the movie is to tell a story of what transpires in an individual during different types of situations. First, it gets to the roots of personality, as Carl Sandburg says, is needed. Second, it answers the questions of who you are, where you come from, and what you should do, as George Miller says, is needed. Third, it is a movie that has hope, friendship, encouragement, religious discrimination, visibility, dialogue, humanism, and aesthetics, as John Mays says is needed. And fourth, the theme of the whole story, all the way through the story, is a homecoming. That information is from a book by Robert K. Johnston called Engaging Culture, Real Spirituality, the second edition. And it's with Baker Academic out of Grand Rapids, Michigan in 2006. Now, we have probably all seen this film at one time or another. A lot of us have probably seen this film many times, numerous times, and never realized the meaning of the film. The original thought of the movie was that it was about a political upheaval in the United States government. But I see it in a religious way. It is a film about good and evil and all of the things that we must go through in this life and how we can overcome evil. My thesis statement on this is the best movie of all time is The Wizard of Oz. You know, I've seen numerous movies in my life, but when I thought about this question, when I first thought about it, what is the best movie of all times? This is the first film that came to my mind. And as the one that younger children can watch, and there not be any problem with it, and it talks about a Christian life without causing confusion in their minds. So what I'm going to cover is, I will discuss the primary objective of this film, as I pointed out in my introduction to my speech. Next, I will tie some of our characters and settings to human qualities and situations. And then third, I will mention some quotes from the film. First is my primary objective. It says, at first, we notice that the setting is a drab Kansas setting with no color and nothing that really stands out in our minds. That is the way it usually is in our lives here on this earth. Usually it's a drab life and nothing really stands out in our minds. Next, we always have an evil person that wants to make our lives our lives miserable. Just the same as Dorothy had a person that was trying to make her life miserable the whole time by taking away her joy. That's what happens to us in this life. Satan tries to take away our joy. He tries to make our lives miserable every time he gets a chance to do that. So the thing of it is Dorothy finds out that the land over the rainbow is beautiful. It's a colorful place with sights that she has never seen before, that she has never dreamed about. And that's the thing, is we are told in the Bible that heaven is a beautiful place, and that there's nothing down here that will compare to what it is like in heaven. We will never have seen sights that we will behold when we get to heaven. And all that Dorothy wants is she wants to get back home. She wants to get back to where she belongs. But she finds out that she has to complete a journey to accomplish her task. And that's the same thing in a Christian's life. We're never home till we get to heaven. We're always striving to get to heaven. We will never be satisfied with what we have here until we accomplish our task and get home to heaven. But we see when Dorothy begins her journey to Oz, she is alone and she is scared. But as she continues on, she gets help. She finds friendship and she gets encouragement from some unusual characters. And that's the thing with us. We begin our journey with the Lord. We might feel as if we're all alone, and we may be scared of failing. But the Lord is always with us. And you will also find others that will help you along and they'll encourage you on your journey to get to heaven, on your journey for the Lord. On the journey that Dorothy and her companions made, they ran into a lot of obstacles and troubles that could have caused them to doubt the objective and change their mind and to turn around and give up on what they were doing. And that is the same as it is in our journey. We will have trials and temptations. We will have others that make fun of us. We will have others that will reject us. We will hear insults. We will hear slurs thrown at us. And we can contemplate if all we go through is worth it. It is worth it. It's worth it to go through all those things to get to heaven. So when Dorothy and her companions finally reached the city of Oz, and they spoke to the wizard, he didn't give them what they wanted, but he did give them what they needed. And it is the same way it is in our lives for God. We ask God for things. We ask Him to supply us with things that we feel that we need. But God doesn't supply us with our wants. He only supplies us with what we need. But we can still get through with what He supplies us with. Now, there are a lot of good ideas in this film, but I believe the major idea of this story is to get over your self-doubt. Why do you doubt yourself? You feel you're incompetent, you're incomplete, or you're inadequate. So you want outside approval. You want a material reward of some kind. You are alone, you are afraid, and you let obstacles get in your way, and you fall off the course just the same as they did in this story. That's the thing, is others see our good qualities, even if we do not see them ourselves. We need to look inward, and we need to recognize our strengths. Happiness and achievement are not acquired, but they are found within each one of us. Things are not always easy, and the darkness will eventually pass. And you will come to know more of yourself as you go further, and you will become happy and hopeful. That's the things you have to remember, is you have to remember to stay true. Stay on the right path. Keep going. Never give up, and the good things will come your way. What is represented by some of these characters in the settings? First off, it's the yellow brick road. The yellow brick road is the life of man and the obstacles that is in that life. The Scarecrow is about intelligence and cunning. The Tin Man is about compassion. And the Lion is about bravery. What are some of the quotes from this movie? The Scarecrow. The Scarecrow's quote is, "Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?" And they do. And the Wizard's quote is, "A heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others." I know we need to love others. We need to love other people, but we need other people to love us also. Dorothy's quote is, "Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. We must be over the rainbow." And then finally, my favorite quote from the movie is from the monkey. What the monkey says is, "We dare not harm this little girl, for she is protected by the power of good, and that is greater than the power of evil." The monkeys knew that she was in the power of good, and that's the same as we are. The devil can't get to us because we are in the power of good. He could throw everything he wants to at us, but we can survive it and we can get through it. So in my closure, first I told you what I thought was the primary objective of this film. Second, I told you I would connect some settings and some characters to the human qualities. Third, I told you I would give you some quotes from some of the characters in the film. Today, I explained to you why I feel that The Wizard of Oz is the best movie of all times. You know, I feel I've done the best job that I could in explaining my objective of letting you see why I am determined that The Wizard of Oz is the best movie of all times, and I hope you will join me to come up with this same conclusion. Some of my information was found in the King James Bible, and some of it was found on the internet, in Wikipedia, Yidio, and other internet places. Thank you very much.